Looking at what Singapore's next steps will be, Finance Minister Lawrence Wong says that cryptic cases are a major concern. Vaccinations are underway for more than 400,000 students at community clubs across the island. From child actress to global superstar, music correspondent reflects on the rise of Olivia Rodrigo. You're watching The Big Story live from the Straits Times newsroom. I'm Haryanto Diman. You can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never miss a single episode. 45 new COVID-19 cases were preliminarily confirmed today, 10 imported and 35 in the community. Now, breaking down these 35 local cases, 2 are currently unlinked, while 11 are connected to previous cases. 6 were already under quarantine and 5 were found through surveillance. The remaining 22 local cases are linked to the Minesville at Napiri cluster. They had been announced last night, and the Health Ministry said they would be added to today's case count after their test results were verified. The Minesville at Napiri cluster currently has 27 cases. Mines said that since May 7th, residents of the adult disability home haven't left the premises for reasons other than going for medical appointments. Staff living at the home haven't been allowed to leave either, except for essential purposes. Every resident and staff member has been tested, with their close contacts placed under quarantine as well. Meanwhile, Finance Minister Lawrence Wong said the multi-ministry task force remains very concerned about cryptic cases lurking in the community. Following a closed-door meeting with his fellow task force co-chairs today, Mr. Wong shared this video message on his social media accounts.
I've been working from home for the most part since the start of Phase 2 heightened alert, like many of you. This morning, we just had our multi-ministry task force meeting virtually, and I thought I should give you a quick update. We have been monitoring the situation carefully and considering what are some of the next steps we might take. We are very concerned about the hidden or cryptic cases that are still out there in the community, and the recent outbreak of cases in the Minesville Adult Disability Home is a stark reminder of this.
As early as 8 a.m. this morning, students, some accompanied by parents, showed up at vaccination centres island-wide to get their first COVID-19 jab. They're the initial batch of over 400,000 students, 12 years old and above, who will be progressively invited to get vaccinated. Many of them were excited to get their shots, especially those sitting for the national exams. Priority is given to secondary and pre-university students in graduating cohorts who will be taking their O and A levels later this year.
When I first heard that the graduating students can receive the vaccination, I didn't hesitate to sign up. I'm sitting for my O levels this year, and community cases are rising. I was quite worried about my safety and the safety of my loved ones. I also wanted to take this vaccination quickly so that I could perform better for my O levels later this year.
One concern I had for this was my upcoming O-level English oral exam, which is in July. So I didn't want my second dose of the Pfizer vaccine to for the dates to clash. So that's why I hurried up to sign up as soon as possible, so to make sure that I have ample time to recover before my O-level exam.
When I get to know from the news that they are open for, they're opening the vaccination for the students who are taking the O-level, I'm very excited for my daughter. So I informed her and we discussed it over.
We've heard from a parent and students, so let's get a principal's take on this vaccination exercise. Joining me is Madam Rasida Rahim, Principal of Queenstown Secondary School. Welcome, Madam. Madam, how has the vaccination response been at Queenstown's Secondary? How have you encouraged graduating students to sign up for their jabs?
Okay, for our school, we have quite a good response rate. Quite a high number of students have actually registered for the vaccination. In fact, when the news came, we quickly rallied our staff so that they can engage the students and encourage them to sign up.
Right. Now, it was announced just 3 days ago that students could get vaccinated. Could you share with us, how was the process of disseminating information to parents and sending out alerts been? Because, it's a short notice.
Yeah, it was indeed a short notice and we don't have really much reaction time. So what we did was that we quickly rallied the staff. So I called for a meeting the next day with my all staff so that they are prepared to actually engage the students. We went through the rationale and also some FAQs. We also addressed any of their concerns and queries. Subsequently, my form teachers engaged their class and then reminded them to sign up for the vaccination program.
Right. Madam Rasida, you mentioned earlier that response has been great, but have parents reached out, expressing any concerns? And how does your school deal with such cases?
So far, we have no parents that we need to engage regarding the vaccination program. So I guess for us, it's really a welcome news. So thus far, we are still able to manage the ground sentiments, and it has been highly positive.
Madam Rasida, I must admit, in another life, I would have loved to be a teacher, but a principal's job doesn't seem like an enviable one at the moment, because in the past 14 months, you've had to deal with HBL, social distancing within the school, students' health, parents' expectations. What are your big takeaways from the past year in managing the pandemic?
Well, it has been quite a ride. I must say that it's quite challenging. But I think what are some of my big takeaways is one, you cannot work alone. It's very important for you to work as a team because really we need everybody to play their part. I need my teachers to quickly level up their competencies in teaching with technology. But thankfully, we do not need to start from ground zero, because we are already into teaching with technology for several years already. I think another thing that was important also, the support from HQ. So as a P, I don't feel alone. There is support. There's a strong support from HQ in terms of managing the whole entire process of going through, ensuring that the students are able to learn, the school is able to function well. So that I think is one of my biggest takeaway. My second takeaway is really the importance of us being adaptable. We need to change our work routines. I never imagined that one day I'll be conducting an interview in this manner. So it takes a while for us to actually get used to it. But then I must say that my teachers are very resilient. They quickly learn how to adapt and learn how to actually teach the students via platforms such as Zoom. Another thing that I thought was also one of my big takeaways is ensuring the well-being of everyone. As we actually as we are very busy with implementing all these SMM measures to ensure the safety of and well-being of both staff and students, it's also important for us to take a pause and check in with the students, because really this pandemic will affect people differently. Okay, there are some students who come from certain homes that is not very conducive for them to learn from home. So we need to ensure that we supported them well. We also need to look into the well-being of our teachers, as you know that they have to manage both the teaching and learning as well as their commitment with their family. So in the midst of all that, we do need to make sure we take a pause and ensure that we show care towards our students and our staff. I think the final takeaway that I could learn from this experience is really the fact that there's always something positive that can come out of something that is so challenging. And that I mean is that I see that there were many opportunities for my students to show their appreciation. All right, they took upon themselves, they wanted to write appreciation cards to the healthcare workers. They wanted to show appreciation to the canteen stallholders whose income was affected because of the closure of schools. And this is something really that I thought was something beautiful that come out from this very difficult situation.
Well said, Madam Rasida. Thank you so much for your sharing and for setting aside time to come onto the show to speak with us. I've been speaking with Madam Rasida Rahim, Principal of Queenstown Secondary School. Singapore's resident unemployment rate declined for the sixth consecutive month, dipping 0.1% to 3.9% in April. However, overall unemployment remains unchanged from March at 2.9%. On Facebook, Manpower Minister Tan See Leng said that job matches have been boosted and unemployment rates kept on a downward trend. But he is also mindful that our unemployment rates remain elevated. HDB resale prices rose for an 11th consecutive month in May by 1.2%. But fewer flats were sold compared to the previous month due to fewer property viewings as a result of tightened COVID-19 measures. A Propnex analyst said that if Singapore relaxes restrictions after June 13th, resale volume may pick up in the later part of this month. In light of a meat disruption in the US, the Singapore Food Agency will tap on alternative sources and ensure that our food supply remains stable. According to data from the agency, the US is one of the top 3 sources of fresh and frozen beef and chicken for Singapore last year. Fake followers, doctored photos, filters upon filters. Just how real are the lives of Instagram influencers? Well, premiering tonight at 7 p.m, the latest episode of Close Up peers behind the curtain of this multi-million-dollar industry and find out if journalist Jen Lee can become an influencer in just 30 days.
So our plan is to start a new account, not associated with ST, not telling anybody that I'm a journalist, so that we cannot use that name as a leverage. And then we're going to try and get 5,000 followers.
Can you take my legs along? That looks big.
It depends on what your specialty is lah. I don't know, maybe if you have like super big boobs, then you can take off clothes.
C'est moi sous la lumière.
Instagrammers, famous, beautiful, influential. But what does it take to succeed? And how much of what we see on Instagram is fake?
This is someone that we highly suspect have fake followers, but it's very, very difficult to tell.
From fake followers to doctored pics, we're going to find out just how real this industry is for ourselves. How? Well, by turning into an Instagrammer myself.
Let's round off our Thursday with live picks. Olivia Rodrigo, an actress and singer whose singles have been topping the charts. Her debut solo, Driver's License, shot to #1 on the US Billboard chart and also was a big hit in Singapore. And she's only 18 years old. Our music correspondent Eddino Abdul Hadi spoke with Olivia recently and he's here to discuss why she has become such a pop sensation. Dino, Olivia's songs are fueled by the confusion and drama that comes with the messy business of relationships and teenage life. Now, she's definitely not the first teenager to include these elements in her songs. Now, we're talking about Taylor Swift, Lorde and Billie Eilish. So what sets her songs apart from the rest? And do you see her having a long and successful career in this music industry?
You know what, you're right. She's definitely not the first. I mean, since pop music came out in the 50s and all that, there'll always be teenagers singing about heartbreak. But I think the thing to note is that a large chunk of pop music listeners are teenagers, right? And for a lot of them right now, who are teenagers right now, a pop singer like Olivia is a peer. You know, she's of the same age. You mentioned Taylor Swift. We got to remember that Taylor Swift is now 31. Amazing as it seems, that she's so someone for Olivia's peers, she's someone older. And you mentioned Lorde as well. Lorde is 24, so she's kind of like closer to millennials than Gen Z. But Olivia is 17 when she wrote the song. She's 18. So for a lot of pop music listeners who are teenagers right now, they identify more with someone like Olivia right now. And Billie Eilish is a little bit different. She's only 1 year older than Olivia, but she's a little bit different in the sense that she's a little bit edgier. You know, she's a bit more alternative. I would say Olivia Rodrigo comes from a more traditional pop mold. well, she first became famous as a Disney actress, right? And so she already had that mainstream acceptance before she put out her solo music. And whether she's going to have a long and successful career in the music industry, I think so. You know, what impressed me most about when her album Sour came out was the range of her musicality. You know, Driver's License, when it came out, it was this emo piano ballet, a ballad. Sorry, and then the next single that came out, Deja Vu, had this really interesting like drums, which I thought sets it apart from other pop songs. And then when she put out her third single, Good For You, it had this very rocking pop punk sound from the early to mid 2000s, like a la bands like Paramore and all that. And I think during the Zoom conference, when she was talking to the press, I think she talked about how she takes in multiple genres, you know, that she listens to a wide variety of music. And she also hints that she's already tired of the stuff that she's been listening to, the singer-songwriters stuff, and that right now she's heavily into hip-hop. So I think that kind of curiosity, having an open mind, it's a good sign for an artist, what more a young artist like her, and I think that she will be more than a one-album wonder.
Right. Now, her songs definitely have caught on because Driver's License is the soundtrack to millions of videos on TikTok. Dino, what are your thoughts on TikTok and social media playing an increasingly vital role for a singer's success?
Again, I think that every generation has a platform that they call their own. You know, maybe during my time, last time it was CDs. You know, and for some generations it's vinyls, for some people it's like the radio and all that. And like it or not, TikTok is that platform right now that is being used by a lot of younger people who are also into pop music. I mean, people are getting a lot of things from TikTok videos, you know, they get a lot of laughs, obviously, there's a lot of things, there's a lot of funny stuff in there. There's a lot of tutorial videos, they're getting their knowledge from there. And the fact that the videos have soundtracks means that if you're watching TikTok videos, you're also you're getting your fix of music on TikTok. And I think the great thing about social media, especially TikTok, is that you don't have to be already famous, you know, to put out content. Anyone can put up, any singer can put up snippets of their own songs online, and if it's catchy enough, you know, if it fits a mood, it can go viral, and you know, and a lot of people will be using it for their videos. It's not perfect, of course. I think one of my beefs with TikTok, like music on TikTok, is that because of the short nature of most of the videos, I think there's concern that songwriters or singers or artists might focus on, you know, that short hook, that 15 seconds or whatever of catchy music, instead of, you know, getting listeners committed to an entire length of song with an intro, a verse, a chorus, a bridge, everything solo. A lot of it is right now is that short, catchy bit that everyone is going for.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Eddino. You can find his interview with Olivia Rodrigo on straitstimes.com, or if you're watching us on YouTube, there's a link in the description below. Zombie Junkies, well, good news for you because Season 2 of Black Summer will be out on Netflix on June 17th. And film correspondent John Louis is here for a quick review. John, Black Summer flew under the radar for me. Now, I haven't seen it or even heard of it until today. What's your take on the series?
Okay, now the big news item was that Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which is a big budget zombie movie, came out, but it was pretty much a cartoon. Nothing mattered, you know, whether people lived, whether people died, it didn't matter, and the zombies didn't behave in a very zombie-like way. Black Summer flew under everyone's radar, like you said, but it's such an amazing series. It's a 8-episode series. Yeah, every episode is staged like a different genre of film. That's what I like about it. It's the same cast of survivors, but in each episode, you know, one might be a heist movie, they steal weapons. One might be a castaway movie, they're all stuck in a shop or in a store and they have to get out. but they're surrounded by zombies. And another one, they face evil kids, like a supernatural horror story. So every episode is different and exciting.
You're right, John. You mentioned that Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead big budget zombie movie was lackluster. So how does this series compare with that movie?
Yeah, as with too many of Zack Snyder's films, it doesn't matter if things don't make sense. Like, it doesn't matter if this is impossible in real life. As long as it looks cool, he'll put it in the movie. There are a couple of consequences because of this. It means that nothing really matters. Whether people live, whether people die. And, then it becomes a cartoon. But the problem is that he treats it like it does matter. So he'll have something to make you care about the characters, like having a little kid in a movie or what. So the stakes are raised. So he doesn't want you to care, but then he makes everything look like a cartoon. Black Summer, things matter because cars work like real cars, doors work like real doors, fences work like real fences. So, things have stakes.
Thank you very much, John. The second season of Black Summer drops on June 17th, and the first season is, of course, already on Netflix. Now, dining in at restaurants, still not allowed for hopefully just 10 more days, but food correspondent Wong is here to tell us the best food that can survive the trip from the eatery to your home. Welcome, Ayuk. Now, Ayuk, your picks today are from the Coconut Club as well as Chef Sham, which sells vinegar trotters, fish maw pig stomach chicken soup. Now, what makes the food from these two places ideal for takeaway?
Okay, yeah, I've been doing a lot of food delivery this few weeks because there's no dining in. And after, while I learned that some dishes actually do very well for delivery and some dishes don't work at all. So for these two stalls, like Chef Sham, he does a soup and a stew. And soups and stews are really very good for delivery because even if it arrives to your place cold, it's very easy to heat up. You either do it in the microwave oven or you do it on the stove. I mean, it's like a no-brainer to heat up a soup, right? As long as you don't boil it too much, you just use medium to low heat, and it will taste exactly the same as when you eat it at the store. And for nasi lemak, it's another thing because nasi lemak is usually sold at around room temperature. Only the rice is warm. The dishes are usually laid out, so you don't need to eat it piping hot. So by the time it reaches your home, as long as the rice is still warm, it still works. It's really no different from eating at a restaurant. So that's why I picked these two dishes.
Right. Now, I've had nasi lemak at Coconut Club, but I still want to know your recommendations, Ayo. What would you recommend from Coconut Club and, of course, from Chef Sham?
Okay, Coconut Club, the signature dish is the nasi lemak. But for their nasi lemak, actually, there are different main dishes that you can choose from. You can just have an otah or ikan kembung. But they have recently launched this new dish called French poulet chicken leg. It's basically an organic chicken leg that they deep fry and then they toss it in some dry spices. It's really good because it's not overly spicy and yet there's enough kick in it. And the chicken is still moist, not too dry. And Coconut Club also has some side dishes which I really like. Recently I tried this tau tempeh with sambal balado. What I like about it is that sambal balado is a little bit more acidic than the normal local sambal because they put tomatoes in it. So it just makes it a little bit more appetizing, which is why I like it a lot. And and for Chef Sham, there are the two signature dishes that you have to order. There is the soup, the fish maw pig stomach chicken soup. It's a very classic Cantonese soup. And Chef Sham really spends hours brewing this soup. It's very thick, it's almost milky. And when you drink it, it's really robust. You can actually taste the collagen in it. And pork trotter is another very well done dish. It's cooked with vinegar, but the vinegar is not too sour and not too sweet, because there are some stalls that, yeah, if it's too sour, you can't really drink it. And if it's too sweet, all you taste is sugar. But at Chef Sham, they balance it really well. So you can actually drink the soup on its own. You don't even need to eat it with rice.
Thank you so much, Ayo, and that was our food correspondent Wong Ayo with his recommendations. Now be sure to check out his Tapao Nation column every Monday and Wednesday as part of Life's Stay Home Guide. For more news and videos, visit straitstimes.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the red button below. I'm Haryanto Diman. See you tomorrow on A Big Story.